Hello, we're back. I always do this when I start. Hello. I'm not actually trying to grab you. I have no idea why I do that. Hello. Hello. We're back. Okay, today this should be a short refactor. I don't know why I even start that way and try to assert that. But what I want to do is I think this is a little wide for this layout. I don't think it should. This looks weird. Look at all that extra space. This is making everything harder to read, right? Okay, so we're going to fix that. I'm going to make this little content card not ever bigger than sort of a healthy amount that each of these items need. So we're going to do something a little intrinsic here and try to be self-sized and use the content, like these label widths and stuff like that, as the basis for how we size our items. I also think this little text here, it's too small. We're going to change that. And there was one superb suggestion by someone who watched. Oh man, I should know your name right now. I really shouldn't. I don't, but it was a stellar suggestion. It's probably in the comments of the last episode. Anyway, they said, hey, that stats list would be a really nice definition list. And I completely agree. So that's going to be one of the first things we do is we're going to use a semantic element to represent our data here. A definition list has a definition title and then definition description or definition data. Anyway, it's a DL, DT, DD. And essentially that's exactly what we have here. We have a definition list of stats. We have a definition title, that's the label, and we have a definition datum, the definition, anyway, whatever, we have a DD, that's this. And you can have multiple DDs. Our particular layout doesn't, so we're just gonna have a single DD. And let's just do it. Let's just refactor this real quick. So here, I'm just gonna grab this. Oh, there's a few of them in here. Whatever, we'll do multiple. So there's our DL. Since we used class names, we're not going to change any styles, which is kind of nice. So here we'll grab all these divs. Oh, there's an easier way to do this. Maybe here if I go like this and then I go like that. Yeah, and then this is a we get to drop a whole node. Ooh, this actually might make the layout a little bit harder. Okay, so definition list does not have this additional wrapping layer here. So we're going to drop stats item. Stats item is going to go away in favor of the natural layer. Definition list. Does it have to have a definition title and a definition like a DD right below it? Let's see. HTML5 definition list. What are the rules? I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be putting let's see, DL, DD, yeah, see the direct items. Here's the sort of layout that we'd be looking at here. See, this would be our title and this would be our value. This would be like, yeah, and see, that's kind of a natural layout. Even once we go to a vertical layout, we could kind of leave it that way. Actually, no, if we're on a single column phone, I think we'd still want to stack these things. We don't want to do a side attribute scenario there. I don't see any additional divs ever being used. I don't think that's suggested. Okay, so interesting. That might make our layout really hard or not even possible, because we need these grouped together. And we need them stacked and then side by side, which means we need a box around each of these. I don't know if we can use a definition list. I don't think so. That's annoying. That was such a good suggestion. And if you disagree with me thinking that this doesn't actually fit right now, let me know. And I almost wonder, let's just try it. Like I'm sure it'll be fine. If I do a definition list here and I leave that and then I switch all these P's to be definition time. Oh, look, there's some extra P's in there. I'm not going to be able to just get all the P's that easy. Oh, that's annoying. Whatever, I'll just fix the others. Okay, so this is a DT, and then these are DDs. Oh, here, let's go stat. Ah, no, it's too many things that have like similar names. Oh, still, stat, end quote. There we go. This is a DD, and this is a DD. Okay, so now we got those. We have the DTs. We messed up a couple of pseudo, like so here, it was this word. Now it starts with P. Okay, save. There. Okay, so we have a definition list, and what's it trying to do here? So here's a definition list. We can take the margins off it if we end up keeping it. Here's our stats item. And inside of here we have a DT. Look, it looks like it. I don't even. A DD. This still. See, that's just a generic DD style. I don't know. Someone tell me. Someone let me know what we should do in a scenario like this. It's very close to the structure of a definition list, but the way that I need to present it, it needs to be different. And if I put an extra div here, am I breaking the whole semantic purpose? Kind of feels like I am. I feel like I'm misusing it. Do I have an extra div? I think this one just should be here. Like that. Yeah, HTML doesn't care. Okay, well, I'm just going to go back to what we had then. Here. Because I'm unsure. That's too bad. Okay, well, let's try one of our other things, which was we wanted this to not be so long, and let's fix up some of this small typography here. I just don't think I want to use a small. Maybe it was small in the original design, but I'm going to switch that to a paragraph. And our paragraph's going to be too big, so let's put it in here. Let's see, what did we have for small stats? Yeah, we were targeting it directly. So here's that. We don't need display inline block anymore. We do want max inline size, and we do want the color to change. We want to change that line height. That is way too squishy. I'm going to do 1.5 right off the bat, and I am happy with that. I think I'll just stick with it. I'll inspect here just to see. Yep, looks good. Healthy gaps there. Our paragraph has no margin, or does it have margin? Its margin is gone already. We must have done that somewhere else. Yep, down here we stripped all the margins out. Okay, great. Well, that already looks better. I might just leave it. It could be a little darker. Is that color good? That color's good. It's just on the cusp, huh? Like being a little, almost not light enough. Like here, if I really jump into it, we check it. See here, let's just do this. Let's make it a little bit darker. And that's at 32% in our lightness. So we can pop in here. That was text color. Oh, we lost our attachment B. Text color. Oh, we're writing the color in here. Oh, don't we have a second color? We have text 2. Let's use text 2. Oops. Var. Text 2. Okay, and how's text 2 doing? Text 2 is passing swimmingly. Okay, well, I guess we should have just been using our variable the whole time. Do we have any other colors certified? HSL. No, all of them are up here. Okay, well, I guess we found a lingering color that it wasn't using our system, which is nice now, because if we go to the base of this, I think this is the one where we had the hue set up, right? Where we could change the hue. It's like 100. Yeah, that's cool. Go to 0. And then, yeah, see our color and our text here comes with it. So that probably wasn't working before. So, okay, we fixed a bug and we're back to our nice slate color palette. And let's make this not so wide. So our one of the first things we want to do is the width of this needs to be, we need to be an inline grid. Essentially, our width needs, oh, nice. See, look, that already did what I was kind of hoping for. This shrink wrapped our layout. It's now being sized by the size of its contents. And we're kind of lucky these aren't line breaking. I wonder why they're not. We'll probably find out soon. So I think what we need to do is see, look at our nice grid lines. Our grid lines are still shared. Are they shared all the way between these two? Or are we just getting lucky because one of these is 2? What did we set the min width on this to? Did we set a min width? Yeah, where's our cool size coming from? So there's our label. Our label is filling its box. So it's obviously being sized by the parent. The parent here is a grid. No, that's the stats. A stats item is just a display block. Okay. Oh, this is just a full width paragraph. Okay. And our stats is specifying how many columns to repeat, and they're just sharing the fractional space. And like, okay, so if we look, let me stick our grid on here. Let's stick both grids on. Hey, cool. This is going to be really handy that we can do this. All right, if we stick both grids on there, and I'm really curious if we just got lucky, but this bottom grid, the widest item is setting the size for all of these, right? This is an independent grid from this grid. So since it's independent, there is no shared lines. We're seeing a coincidence. Although, which one of these is setting the width? Okay, we're gonna have to figure that out. So this one is obviously setting the width here. And the width is 116 pixels wide, and that's coming from our 116 pixel wide paragraph tag that is not wrapping. If it was wrapping, we'd probably be able to collapse smaller. Okay, where is this one coming from? The widest content item looks like these numbers, and is it just their letterbox is that wide? So do we have any letter spacing on these numbers? Actually, we could probably bring the letter spacing in on these. Let's do 0.2 pixels. Div stat. Oh, tabular numbers. So they've already got their kerning coming from somewhere. Right. Oh, that makes sense. This is where, yeah, we don't want to do that. Okay. So I liked it better. Okay, we had tabular numbers, and that, okay, so that actually must be what's it is. It's setting the box. Yeah, look, we can see 116. If I change the font size of this to 100 to 5, okay, so now they're still matching in size. Is that because two numbers here is filling the width, but our width isn't coming from this anymore. Our width is now coming from this, which is pushing our parent container, and these containers are all sharing it, and they're doing equal fractions. Okay, so now that's how we're getting it. We are delivering two grids that are the fraction of either 4 specific columns in the space. So they're actually not being self-sized at all, which means if we shrink smaller, then we should see some collapsing happen. Although, look at that. Is that because we have media queries doing this? I think we had media queries, right? Yeah, here. Let's get rid of these for now. We're going to find new spots for those to adjust. Okay, see, this is all okay, and that's because we have columns 1 specified by default, right? So we need to, okay, so we were unfolding into 2 and unfolding into 4 as we had space. So here's us unfolding into 2 at 480, so we could see 480 up here. Here we split into 2. I think that looks really nice. We could go like aligning these to the right edge, or yeah, like why are these pushed out so far? Okay, it's split into 2, and it's just filling the space. Okay, it's just because 480. Okay, as I keep going, what's up with, oh, it's maxing out at its content, and the content here, okay, so that's nice. We're not getting a layout, and the layout is continuing to grow until its widest item, which ends up being this paragraph at a max width of 40 characters. So if we drop this, look at that. So this whole content here is being, the width of this is the optimal reading width of this paragraph, which just so happens to set up this nice content box card for us to equally divide our space for items. That was just so cool. Okay, right? This is a nice logical layout. And so as we pull further out, right, we gained more space. So we split into 4 columns, but we split into 4 columns at a point at which we're not expanding into that space. And now we're seeing it's a little too tight. And did we hit any of that tension here? No, we didn't. So I wonder if we add a gap. Let's increase the gap between the items and our stats. And maybe, and we only need the gap in the one direction. So we want that on the second value. Doop, boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, nice. So what we had 2 and a 1. Let's definitely bump this up to like 4. Let's show our grid. Ew. No. No, that color. No. Thank you. This one. It's like we're playing a game. Don't know what kind of colors we're gonna get. All right, that was fine. It's a little hard to see. Periwinkle. There we go. Okay, and as we pull this larger, right, okay, that's great. So what we see is the gap did change this layout here. You can see these got pushed a little bit more to the right, which I'm super down with. And as we get into this, yeah, it's not going to matter here. And we could bump it. I think we could go a little more. Dude, where's that? Here's it. Okay, 4 characters. 6. This looks like something we can change dynamically. Oh, look there. We had text wrapping. Finally, some text wrapping. I was like, why? Is it just luck? Because look, it looks terrible when they text wrap. So we kind of have to prevent that. So we should be able to do, let's assume we want 8. Let's look at our wrapping issue. And here I'm going to go to our code and just change some of this stuff. So here's our stats. Let's go 8 characters. Geez, that seems like a lot, but you know, whatever. We'll see how it goes. And we could change that based on this media query. So we could set that into a parameter and change it dynamically, but we'll see. Okay, the next thing we're going to click on the label and make sure that these don't, let's see, white space, no wrap. Yeah. Okay, and you could see that as they stop wrapping, Flexbox just adjusts, or grid is adjusting. And look, we're finally not even. We're seeing the battle between the items that are being laid out here and that say, I demand this much space to be seen. And then the parent wrapper that's just like, I've been told to create 4 columns, you will squeeze in. And we see them competing here as finally the child is sort of saying, no, I don't wrap. And now the parent container is like, ooh, I need to reevaluate because it was easiest for me when there were no forces coming from the children. The children didn't have as many requirements, and I was just kind of making boxes. It was easy. But now this one's pushing back, and it's pushing back on the layout, and the layout needs to adjust. So our gap is staying as healthy as it can in the context of the layout that's happening. And we can see that our lines are finally not matching up, and it's kind of annoying in one sense, but it's really amazing in another sense. So let's try to solve this and just like look at what we have here, because this misalignment is, let's see, if we take our grids off, it's probably really annoying. Yeah, that's not cool. But at the same time, it's better than this. Like, that's not good. And all of this is caused because we have too much gap, if I believe, right? If we drop this down to 6, this is just one width at which these are struggling. Right. Okay, so let's give these a little stress test. I think we could actually break into, yeah, let's break into 2 earlier. Let's do 420. Ooh, maybe even 400. It's kind of an awkward number to break at, but it's doing good with our numbers and our layout. Okay. Oh, and we collapsed some of our padding here. When did we do that? That's nice. Oh yeah, right here. Collapsed some of the padding as we squeezed into a smaller space. Excellent. Could probably close up some of the gaps. Okay, so there's no misalignments there. I like the extension on our spacing. It could match our other breakpoint. So we had 400. Then we don't have 2 transformations. We're sort of transforming once right here. Yep, so we're going to single to double with extra space. Perfect. And as we continue extending, we've hit that issue. So these have our large gap on them. You can see the gap there. It's super nice actually that it's pushing so much. I still kind of think it could go a little more, right? Like 8 is totally fine here. But there's a certain width at which that is just not working, and that seems to be right at about 720. 720, we can go down to 4, and then maybe bring it back at a wide, right? Okay, so that's because we switched to 4. We switched to 4, no weird line breaks. Everything is aligned. Let's stick our grids back on. Is that? No, this one in here. What? Peach and salmon? What happened to what I'd set them to? Okay, whatever. Oh, and look, it doesn't matter what the rest of my... So at this width, interesting. Check this out. Okay, let's make levers. This is turning, okay. We want this to be our column gap. Column gap? Sure. It's 8 characters at first. Column, let's put a dash in there. Yeah, I couldn't read it. Okay. And we'll take this out, put our column gap in there. And then what we'll do is we'll update column gap at these different intervals. So here it was best at 4, but then we'll say at like, oh man, I don't know. We'll have to feel this one out. Back up to 8. And columns can stay 4. Could probably even increase columns depending on how many items, but we have a known and finite amount. Okay, so if I refresh, here we go. What happens if I pull larger? Yeah, we'll just increase gap. Oh, Oh, and we don't want to make the gap ever too large, right? We're still kind of focusing on a reading length. Boom. Okay, so if my goal here is not some sort of like perfect perfect box scenario or whatever. It's to find like I like optimizing for legibility and kind of maintaining my colors and stuff. Anyway, there's a lot of things I like working towards, but in this particular case, it was legibility. And the only thing that's bugging me is this one right here where we have none. And I don't know, I think it's because it's ID and 0. This is especially lonely, an extra white space, but that's okay. But look at all the rest of our space. We now have a really healthy amount between as we get into like a lot of visual space. But as we get into a constrained one, we pull it down. This is very adaptive. So we basically have an adaptive gap here. Oh, we could make it like fluid, I wonder. No, fluid would mean the parent is filling the space and the children are being distributed. Where right now we have the children are calling the show here. Like you can see that when these expand, the parent expands. That's what we want. We're optimizing for the legibility of these numbers and the legibility and the reading of our paragraphs. So as we get more space, we can kind of take some of it, but ultimately the children are trying not to spread too thin where they can't be read. That was the problem we were solving. So in here, they're not too dense. They're just being considerate of the space. They split into two and they go into a single column and no, that layout's fine. There's just like something about this is not, I mean, it's just, it's not a great single column layout. So if I was on an iPhone, 4 or one of the old awesome ones, this would be my layout size. And that's really squishy. That's really not nice. Honestly, honestly, I'm the current designer of this, right? I suppose. So let's do one more thing. I have a solution is that we're not going to go to a single column. So columns 2 always, which means min width here is gone. We're only going to go from 2 to 4. And what we're going to change is our font size. And stats. Let's see, this is a stat item is controlling this. Oh, it's a stat. Stat is getting its font size here. So we can take this, or where are the stats being managed? Right here. Then let's just take this. We were doing something else at 400 pixels too, right? Right here. Oh, we're adjusting padding. That's okay. We'll leave that. This is going onto a stat because we're basically saying we want to change the font size dynamically here. It needs to be smaller, 2.5 rem at a max. So we need to set 2.5 as this one and increment on our way up, because we're going mobile first. So mobile is going to get some healthy 2 rem should be great for reading on a device. What I see, oh, that's our gap probably causing an issue. So our gap is too heavy now as a default of 8. So let's take it to 4. So it's going to be 4 all the way up until it's here. All right, interesting. We're actually getting rid of a lot of stuff by kind of still being, okay. Look at that mobile layout. That is so much better. So much better. Cool. Oh, there's some line height issues right here. Don't like label. That's a section P. Oh, that is. Oh, the label is a paragraph. Our paragraph is getting its line height here because it's being shared right there. Yeah, so we're going to need a label to have a line height of 1.1. Nice. Okay. So our item label should be down here. Yep. So essentially line height 1.1 gets us as shrink wrapped vertically in our line height as I believe is healthy to be considerate for most scenarios like this. Like our descenders and our ascenders aren't going to touch, but they're going to be really close. If they were at 1, we might start cutting things off from having connections, and I think that gets a little dangerous. We could even drop the font size of these and do something responsive with the font size. Like I think these could go smaller, but honestly, nah, they're a good size. Okay. Okay, this layout looks much better. Do we have a gap between these items? The stats item is still not anything. So we could do like a display grid with a gap of 1x, maybe half an x. Let's do that. This is stats item. Where are you, stats item? Right here. Display grid. So that's automatically going to be in the block direction. We're going to get a stack, and we're setting a gap that's pretty small. But what we're ensuring is that these items don't touch. See, look, it's just little. Here's our gap. Oh man, that color just killing me. Okay, I'll just hover on it there. Anyway, the gap here is it's really nice. Really subtle. We're not disconnecting our elements, and we're still, do we have a spacing system in here? Nah, so this one we could have used like our smallest unit of spacing there. Okay, let's test our design as we unfold now. So we're unfolding. We hit our bigger font size perfectly. Who cares? It was around 400. It's great. I'd forgotten what it was. That felt nice. And look, we max out here. So if we're on a tablet, we're not straining the width here. What is our gap here? That's really nice. 4 characters. I love it. Here we are getting into maybe landscape on a tablet or a larger tablet where it's 780. Definitely a portrait mode in most things. And just that little bit of a flex. I like it. I'm staring right now at the space here between the paragraph and these labels. And the color of the labels and the color of the text. Is it the same? 463. Yep, that's the same. It's kind of annoying, but I don't care right now. All right. I think I'm done. I think that looks a lot better. So I'm a little sad we didn't use the definition list, and maybe we could have, and it would have been fine. But I really like what we did here. I really like how we improved this mobile layout. Did that one get kind of squishy? No, it just looked squishy in comparison to the rest. Oh, see, that's really nice. It does not continue to go down. So we could do that if you wanted to support. Actually, we should. That's kind of, why isn't it? Oh, I've told it to specifically be 2 columns always, and the font size is still driving everything. Our gap is probably still driving it. So maybe we need even more. Oh, and we have an awful lot of padding on the parent here. That's kind of obnoxious. It's really cutting into our available space to draw. There is definitely a use case here for going. Let's do it. Let's go all the way to like a really tiny phone at like 240, maybe even a watch. Let's make this support a watch. This data should be able to show up on a watch. Let's do it. So columns 1, that is what we wanted after all. We're going to go over here and set like 320. That's right at the base of like those iPhone 4s when they're going to have a good screen, really high quality. We should be able to show that. Okay, so we'll do boom and boom. Gap is already 4, so we don't need that there. Okay. How small is this? Here, this is super tiny. Look at that. You're definitely getting into watch sizes here. And all that content is legible. We'll fold out at 320. Nice. Could we even do it earlier? No, I don't think. Maybe at like 300, but I don't know why you would want to do that. We'll keep expanding. Really nice layout. In fact, we could have expanded right about here to 4 with the smaller font size. So this would be like, as a designer, you could decide to split into the single line of 4 earlier, and then adjust your font size larger and adjust your font size larger. In fact, we could grow our font size again right here just to show off a bit with the extended gap. Let's do it. Maybe it's not showing off. I don't know. So here, stat, we bump the font size when we hit a minimum of 400, but we're going to do it again when we hit a minimum of 1024. So when this gap bumps up, we are also going to bump up to 4 rem. Boom. It's just a little bolder because we have the space. And you know what? Bold numbers are fun. Cool. Who would have thought we could spend so much more time on that design? What did I quote? 10, 15 minutes? I have no idea what we're at. I need to stop quoting. That's a terrible idea. And I like what we did. I hope that was interesting to you as well. That was a lot of really nitty gritty grid decision making that we did. A lot of really interesting handling of content, and then how we have this logical layout and what is influencing what. Like what values did we care about in our layout, and how did we accentuate those and then make space for them so that they were all obeyed? How would you have done this? Is there anything in here you think we should still continue to refactor? Let's iterate on it. I think this layout looks really nice. So I hope you like it too. Take it easy, and until the next video, I'll see you later. Wow!